My name is Ben. I was a solution specialist for it's the professional services arm of a consultancy right before I got the notice that our basically the whole professional services division was going to be closed down. So we were laid off. My professional services team was part of a larger group. A larger company that had actually two arms of it. One was an ISV arm, so they have a number of apps on the Salesforce App Exchange, and the owner of the company, for better or for worse, in this case, decided that that's where they wanted to focus their future on was that ISV side. So all of us that were part of the professional services division were given the news that we had about, I think at the time, luckily for us, we had about 6 weeks between when we were told that the PS division was going away. So we had a little time to kind of prepare. Yeah, I felt like everybody feels in that moment, right? There's a little bit of uncertainty. It definitely was a weight. There's no two ways about it. The initial response was kind of like processing in my head, though, of what I needed to do from that point on. I was definitely sure that this wasn't going to be my last Salesforce role, and just sort of trying to make sure that that what I did next was going to be the best next step for me. I was certain that the people that I worked with, I probably wouldn't be the last time I worked with them, or there was a really good chance. So definitely tried to make sure I was as professional as possible to them, and also didn't want it to reflect badly on the company. Strangely enough, so it was definitely an interesting situation. In the moment, that moment passed actually pretty quickly. That might sound a little peculiar, but it was sort of time to go at that point. So I guess the best advice I would say is lean on your network for sure. One of the first things I did after I told my wife that we were going to have to make some decisions about what we were going to do next. Definitely reached out to some people that I knew into my network who had recently joined companies, in my head, thinking that possibly there were still some opportunities from them, and they're people that I know, people who could sort of vouch for me as well. Reached out to some recruiters just to say, hey, my eyes are kind of opened up to new opportunities now, more. So I mean, really it was kind of the basics. It was just sort of opening up that network again. These were avenues that were open before, people who I'd been in contact with over the last couple of years, from when I decided to pivot into Salesforce. So I guess I sort of knew I already had really the steps to do that I needed to perform, people I needed to reach out for, to be able to know that I was going to be okay. And actually, I was very, very fortunate throughout that I had a little bit of time to process before the layoff date. I actually had my offer with a couple of weeks to spare, so I wasn't unemployed for any period of time. Definitely feel very fortunate because of that. But I think it was certainly very much, I can give a lot of that credit to the network and bulk of connections that I made. Definitely LinkedIn is a great tool. Any of your social connections can be a good resource. You never know.